Viper Auto Valet down at the detailing barn this bank holiday weekend. Wanted to do a little video with regard to suspension and my 1999 Porsche 911 996 C4. I've been thinking about suspension for a long time, although the vehicle's been on my two-post lift many times, I've been under it. Couldn't really see anything wrong with the suspension. It's been to a few specialists, again, no one could find anything wrong, but clearly the suspension is old. I've now ordered all new arms, coffin arms, tuning forks, dog bones, so on and so forth. So everything that goes from the hub to the chassis, I've now purchased new. Not fitted yet. I'm trying to get everything together so that when I'm ready, I can fit it all in one go. With regard to shock absorbers and springs, so on and so forth, I was in debate for a long time whether to go standard on springs, whether to go H&S, lowering springs, whether to say standard on the shock absorbers, B4s, B6s, B8s, with regard to Bilstein shocks. I was really in a dilemma as to what to do. I didn't want to go coilovers because I didn't want, the car's not going to go on the track, I'm just using it for weekends like I've done this weekend. Sunny days, go out for a nice drive, drive it spiritedly on the B roads, but you know, nothing excessive. So I was completely against coilovers. But there were a number of options on suspension and I was really getting myself twisted up, not knowing what to do. So as you can see from the box ahead of me, I went coilovers. Went for BC Racing. They were a little over £1,000 for the whole set. And within the set, which was also a nice bonus, you also get new front drop links. So that was also a bonus with regard to that. Why did I go for coilovers in the end? When I measured my suspension, so floor, ground to inner edges of the arch, the whole thing varied by about 1 centimetre or so. Not a lot, but I decided if I was to lower it, the 25mm or whatever the H&R springs, it would still be a little bit out. And if I was looking at the suspension, already on my shock absorbers I knew that the gaiters were split and no longer in the position they should be in. The bump stops had collapsed and they were broken and no longer functioning as well as they should, and certainly didn't look as good as they should. Could see no leaks or anything from the shock absorbers. New top mounts were definitely, I would have imagined, needed. And there was other things with the top mounts that you'd have to do as well. So you'd have to take all the suspension apart, put on new springs, new top mounts and so on and so forth. You've taken it all apart. There was a cost to that, as well as buying the parts. And who would know that after you've done the lowering springs, that the original shock absorbers, even though they've been replaced at some time, weren't to fail either a month, 3 months, 6 months or a year down the line. So I decided to renew the whole suspension, and I investigated, looked into, researched BC coilovers and decided that's what I was going to go for. They look fantastic quality. I'm not saying they're up there with Öhlins and KWs, but they are considerably cheaper than that, but they still look really nice. I don't think I'm going to be doing much with regard to the camber adjustment that you have on those. I'm going to get them set up, do a geometry set up through a specialist company, and once they're set, they're going to be set. I'll set the right height. I'm probably going to try and lower it because mine already seems to sit quite low anyway. Whether it has a lowered suspension on it through MO30, which I don't believe it has, there's certainly no sign of it on the bonnet sticker, or whether someone has just lowered it over the years, I don't know, but it sits quite low. So I'm only looking to lower it, I'd say 10, 15mm from where it is right now, and I think that'll be a good compromise, nothing too serious, but will make it look nice. So these are the BC coilovers. You know, I think they're a lovely looking thing. The other thing that I was thinking about with regard to coilovers was I wanted to keep the car original with shock absorbers and springs, but even by putting lowering springs on from H&R or whoever else is out there, it was then not original. And I decided that once these are on, you're never going to see them unless the car's in the air, so these would just look nice or perform well. Really impressed with them. So that was really the reason for going coilovers on my 996. It was really a cost-effective option over shock absorbers, springs and everything else that you had to buy to do it. And it does give me the option of when I do come to lower it, because each corner of the car is slightly different, only by millimetres, but these will give me the benefit of lowering the car and making it sit completely level all the way around. So that's why I've gone for those. On a side note, I did a video a few weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, talked about the things that people don't like about the 996. Talked about the headlights, IMS, the interior, so on and so forth. First to the liquid-cooled cars. One thing that I've sort of noticed that people have been talking about is the electric window switches that sit in the centre console rather than on the doors or the door handles. I gave it a thought. That's something that's never really bothered me, but a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing. By having them in the centre console, it does actually save weight. Because if you were to think about it, if they're on the door handles, you'd need 2 switches on the driver's door and 1 on the passenger door. So in actual fact, by putting them in the centre console, you're technically saving the weight of 1 switch. Minimal, but for those that are always looking for saving weight, it's just a food for thought. So there we go. Once these are all fitted, I'm going to try and do some videos, some stills while the shock absorbers are being fitted, and I'm replacing all the suspension components. I think that would make an interesting video or a compilation of videos, but we'll see how that goes. I might just get involved and forget to do video and I just want to get the job done, but we'll see what we can do. So, bye Porto Valley, more videos to come.